So hey guys, welcome back to Ponderings from Palm Coast. I'm Mark Webb, and today I have just a exciting group that I brought in that want to share a little bit about what's going on within our Flagler County Democratic Executive Committee. So I have Miss Mott, Debbie Mott, Janet Sullivan, our chair, and today I want to just give them an opportunity to share with you what's happening and what we're actually doing on the Democrat side. Now, a couple of disclosures I need to make is I am a precinct captain within the D.E.C, and so that makes me a part and a participant within the D.E.C, and I thoroughly enjoy it, and getting out there meeting other Democrats is amazing. And also, I have made an offer to the Republican Executive Committee chair to come and join and speak with us and share with what's going on there. So with that, ladies, welcome. Thanks for coming today. I know it's an exciting time. It's, a year roughly out before we start to really work hard on getting out the vote and letting people know. So Janet, first, how did you end up in Palm Coast? I love to ask that question because I challenged myself to think one day I'm going to meet someone that's been here born and raised. It hasn't happened yet. And we're all pretty much transplants from elsewhere. So how did you end up here?
In 2006, my mother passed away.
I'm sorry.
And my father, who was not 100% healthy, said, I can't take a winter in Illinois anymore. So we got on eBay, and my husband and I bought a home in Winter Park, Florida for my husband from eBay.
Wow. The things on eBay, huh?
And his health turned bad, and he never even saw the home.
Oh.
But we used it for vacations. We were both still working. We used it for vacations. I used it for grieving. I furnished it as if he was going to live in it. And so we enjoyed that home for 2 or 3 or 4 years. Till 2010, actually. We had a great time, but we were always on the road to the East Coast or the West Coast, dragging our bicycles with us to ride bikes up and down the East Coast or the West Coast of Florida.
On the water.
Along the
Nice.
water, along the trails on the water. And finally, I said, we are making this trek too many times a week. We need to sell this Central Florida, and we need to move to one of the coasts. So we started looking over here, and we found a home in the hammock, and we have lived there part-time from 2010 to 2013, at which point I had my second bout of breast cancer, and we chose to go to Shands, which was the medical center. So we moved full-time to Florida in 2013 to have the doctors here take care of me, and we've lived full-time since 2013.
Oh, that's an amazing story. How about you?
Oh, wow. Moved into Palm Coast in 2005. How I got here was my current husband, I was dating at the time. He worked in Jacksonville, and I worked in DeLand and lived in DeLand, Florida. So he knew he was going to be retiring pretty soon, and he started looking for a house. And he just came upon a house he loved in Palm Coast. So 2004, he purchased the home. I was still living in DeLand, working in DeLand there with the state Florida Department of Transportation. And 2005, I said, you know what, I'm tired of this home. Took one evening, made a bunch of phone calls, sold my home in DeLand. That weekend, I went and knocked on his door, and I said, you need a roommate? I'm moving in. So,
Yes.
so
love
that was
it.
2005. We'd been dating since 1999
Oh.
and stuff. So we were, like I said, currently married. But that's how I ended up in Palm Coast.
Nice.
And worked for another 10 years with the state, driving back and forth to DeLand, and then finally retired here.
I love DeLand.
Yeah.
It's an unbelievable
Beautiful little town.
Oh, you know, it has that old town feel and walk down by the water in that old area.
The Main Street
Yeah.
business has done a wonderful job with DeLand.
I do. I miss that from Palm Coast. But anyway, all right, here we are. Democratic Executive Committee. What you all about? What are we doing?
The Democratic Executive Committee, most people refer to it as the D.E.C., but it stands for Democratic Executive Committee, is comprised of the precinct leaders, the Democratic precinct leaders in Palm Coast. The REC. Oh, okay. A precinct leader is a leader in the political precinct as defined by our local supervisor of elections. And the precinct leader is, or leaders are the ones who reach out to the Democrats who are in their political precinct. And we have another organization in the county, the REC, which is the Republican Executive Committee. They have precinct leaders who do the very same thing.
Sure.
So the DEC, Democratic Executive Committee, is essentially a franchise. The county executive committees are the franchises of the Florida Democratic Party, which is essentially the state franchise of the Democratic National Committee. So in Flagler County, there are about 20 precincts. We have 14 precincts that have precinct leaders who have stepped up to do this work. And we have 6 precincts, I think, that are vacant, and we need leadership we need someone to step up to help us out in there, although we do have some fabulous volunteers who are fulfilling the responsibilities of the precinct leaders in those vacant precincts without actually committing to be a precinct leader.
Now, that was one of the questions that was asked. If you have a vacant precinct, and no one within the precinct has stepped up, shown interest, can anybody be a precinct of that based on request or volunteering to fill that position?
Yes, there are different sorts of precinct leaders. I and you are precinct leaders in the precincts in which we live.
Exactly.
Debbie was a precinct leader in the precinct in which she lived, but she has just moved to Flagler Beach from Palm Coast.
Whoa.
So she and her husband took the big step of downsizing their big, lovely home. So Debbie is now a precinct leader, but it's at large. So yes, she's just as official as I am and you are, but it's just a different sort of name. So Debbie is still fulfilling some precinct leader responsibilities in her Palm Coast precinct, even though she lives in Flagler Beach.
Right. So, to the people listening, if you have a passion and you know and you hear me daily, every podcast going, get off your couch, volunteer. If you have a passion to be involved, contact the DEC, come to our headquarters, and volunteer. And if it's a good fit, then they could step
become
into a precinct captain of one of our empty ones.
Yes, but
Excellent.
if they're not interested in
Many
that,
other options
there are
available.
we have the most amazing volunteers I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
And we try to find the right fit for the right person. We don't want to burden people who are not willing to be burdened, but there is something a volunteer can do.
Exactly. there is a need. You just need to let us know what your talent is. Let Janet know. So getting back to that precinct, which makes up the larger body of the DEC, because there's so many of us, I understand my role as that connection, that bridge between what the DEC and what the Democratic Party is pushing. And in this case, we've been talking a lot about vote by mail and helping to communicate with my precinct members, of which I have 1,100 registered Democrats in my precinct. And by the way, I'm not alone. I have someone else, a co-precinct chair that helps. And we reach out, communicate, and talk to those Democrats and let them know the messaging and the things that are going on and beyond that.
The perfect situation would be if we had enough precinct leaders to actually reach out to all 1,100, or if we had enough volunteers to reach out to 1,100. But what we do monthly and regularly is all precinct leaders reach out to people, to Democrats who are new to their precinct. And you just had a great experience.
Just this past Saturday, myself and my partner in crime, Kathy Moon, went out and touched 9 brand new Democrats. A couple were 18 and just registered. Several had moved into the area, and was just amazed at how embraced they were to see a precinct captain knock on the door, introduce himself, hand them information, support what's going on, and acknowledge their commitment to registering as a Democrat. I mean, that in itself in Flagler County in Florida is a huge step, and we really want to applaud and grow those people. And I talked with Kathy afterwards, and it made my day. The satisfaction of knowing that we reached out to brand new citizens of Palm Coast, citizens of Flagler County, and shared with them things they had no idea. They had no idea about clubs. They had no idea that they had neighbors that were Democrats. Because you do. I guarantee you, you have a neighbor within 5 houses which is a Democrat as well. And we need to grow those and inform those and empower those. So,
may I build on that for a second?
Of course.
So we do have, I'll let you, Debbie,
Thank you, Jan.
talk about clubs and caucuses in a second. But I want to grab first onto something you just said, which is Democrats who are in your neighborhood. In the olden days, in the 50s and the 60s, if any of you knew what was going on with politics then, residents were more neighborly. They had lived in those homes and were always going to live in those homes. And the precinct leader went to their house. They knew when the kids' birthdays were. It was a completely different situation. Now we are not as congenial with the people who live next door to us. Times have changed. So it is wonderful that precinct leaders are reaching out to those specific people who we know are there. But what I really wanted to say is voter registration is public information. So if there's someone listening to this podcast and they want to know who might the Democrats on my street be, or my street and the next 4 streets, and if you would be more comfortable or would enjoy knocking on the door of a neighbor saying, hey, I'm a Democrat too. How about we have coffee sometime? That is public information, and we at the Democratic headquarters can provide that information
Absolutely.
to you if that is something you would enjoy doing. Now, clubs and caucuses.
Clubs and caucuses. Okay, we have is it 4 clubs and caucuses? We have first of all, associated with the DEC is the Palm Coast Democratic Club, who is chaired by Donna Harkins. They're currently working on a project which is sending postcards to the 2 swing states that have special elections coming this fall, one being Pennsylvania and one being Virginia. And of course, if some of them, people are taking postcards home to fill out, some of them are grouping up at the office, enjoying each other's company to fill out the postcards. So if you're interested in something like that, please contact the office. Also, you have the Democratic Women's Club of Flagler County, is chaired by Agnes Lightfoot, and they currently are working on a project in the fall, which are going to do the Shirley Chisholm Walk. That's, I believe, is October the 26th. But they also have, and Jan, you may know because I haven't gotten an answer yet, they're doing a postcard event with the Women League of Women Voters. And I'm not quite sure what subject they're doing.
I'll tell you in a moment. You go ahead and
Okay.
finish your caucuses and
Okay,
clubs.
so that's the Democratic Women's Club of Flagler County. Then we have the Flagler Beach Democratic Club, which of course is situated in Flagler County. And each of these clubs, so you know, meet once a month. We have their scheduled times, but on a regular monthly basis. So you're welcome to join them and join the clubs also. The other one is the Flagler County Black Caucus. What's the official
it.
name? Flagler County Black Caucus, who is chaired by
Jerry Ashford.
Jerry Ashford. I was thinking I couldn't get the first name.
I
out.
know.
I knew the Ashford, not the first name. Anyway, with Jerry Ashford, and once again, they also meet once a month at the DEC. Our office is located in City Marketplace. They're just above the Q-Note, 160 City Marketplace, or City Cypress Point Parkway. If you're interested, please, the office hours are 10 to 2. Please stop by, check it out, and see all the activities that are currently going on. Back to you, Jan.
Okay.
Could you explain the difference between a club and a caucus?
A club, the question is, what is the difference between a club and a caucus? Typically, and every county manages things a little bit differently, but typically clubs are geographical. So in Hillsborough County, where there's miles and miles and miles of Hillsborough County, they have a North Hillsborough Democratic Club, a South Hillsborough Democratic Club. People who want to remain connected with other Democrats throughout the month or on a monthly basis because their DEC office might be dozens of miles away from them or an hour drive. Larger counties tend to have geographical clubs so that people can stay together. Caucuses are typically issue-based. So we have 2 caucuses here in town. The Democratic Women's is called a club, but it truly is a caucus. Its focus is mostly on women's issues, not wholly, but mostly. And the Flagler County Democratic Black Caucus, most of its members, not all, are black, and their focus will be on reaching out to the black residents of the county. So typically it's geographical versus issue-based. Debbie's question about what is the Democratic Women's Club postcard
Right.
with the League of Women Voters, it is to reach out to people, returning citizens. And what that really means is people who at one time were incarcerated and they are now ready to join society again. And it is to send them a postcard telling them how they can reach out to whoever they need to reach out to in order to regain their voting rights. So that is what that project is about. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah. So I don't want to miss this opportunity to really magnify how much hard work you guys have done in maintaining, growing that office. I remember back in 2020 when we had right in that little, right off of Palm Coast Parkway, that little one-story building that was only, it popped up during the general in the election, and then after the general is over, it went away, got put away. Well, that's not happening now. We're growing leaps and bounds every month. The special election, Josh Wheel's special election, which happened in April, gave us power, authority, effort, support, and now we have a commitment. We have a headquarters that is being used every day by groups that is been supported by donations, and people are, I mean, we're there to help and grow and support and inform the citizens that I'm hearing every day. What did he just say? What just happened? What's going on in the world? And so I think we're so primed and we're so in the right position. And I heard it on Saturday from people that were like, thank God you guys exist and you're there and you're supporting what we believe is right. And so I found that empowering in what you guys are doing. So how do we continue to grow the Democrats here in Flagler County? What is it that is going on? Where are our needs? Where do we want to go tomorrow?
There's two things. There's donations and what it takes for us to be able to do our work. And then there's the work. I'd like to talk about the work for just a
Please.
second, and then I'll get to the donations. Believe me, I wish I was a hell of a lot smarter than I am. And I wish I could figure out the silver bullet here in Flagler County to get to people and to turn this around. I think about it every day. I am not that smart. I am a hard worker. I know the processes that have worked to maintain and grow county parties, but I do not have a silver bullet to fix the despicable situation that we're all in. So, having said that, the best I know to do to lead this group is to do the things that have been proven to work, to maintain until we are given better guidance.
I think you sell yourself way too short. I experience successes in what we're doing, but you have to look at the long game. You have to sit and go, well, you know, in 2024, we got out 83% of Democrats voted. We're one of the 5 smallest counties in Florida, and yet we were in the top 10 as far as Democratic turnout. That's an awesome thing. Don't sell yourself so short. Here's another win. Josh Wheel cut in half the points of Republican to Democrat ratio votes. Now, I know Roger, your number guy, he and I work closely. You know what that tells me? Republicans voted for Josh. Not enough, but it's a movement. And you have to embrace those successes.
It is a long-term plan.
But it's working. It's successful. There's an old saying that George Washington said at the low point when they were going across the Potomac, whatever. He said, gentlemen, don't forget, we're going to win the war, even though they had lost.
Maybe not that skirmish.
Maybe they lost the last 5 or 6 battles. Society and the platform that we, as liberal Democrats, believe in and support, in the long run, will win. I believe it. It's why I do this. It's why I volunteer. It's why I have a gay son. I have people that are non-documented immigrants that are hiding that I know about. These are real people that
Yes.
we have a voice for. And I applaud what you're doing. And never, ever underestimate, as I did on Saturday when I talked to a lady who had just moved here, tragic divorce. She was probably in her 30s, 3 young kids, was living with her parents. Strong Democrat, came from Ocala, didn't know a soul. We knocked on that door, and she came to the door, and immediately Kathy could realize here was someone that needed nourishment, that needed a reach out. And that's what we do in the Democratic Party. We reach out and hold up and help people. And we provided her with the women's club information and other elements of things that she could do, a network of ladies that are in her same thing. And when we walked away, I was so nourished. I was so full of what I felt was doing the right thing. And that's been so rare with all the drama that goes on, the Blue Forum, just the...
Other things in addition to the 4, the Blue Forum, the book club, those things.
Yes, that's what we forgot to mention was we do have a group called the Blue Forum. They're an open discussion group. They meet once a week on Fridays from 12 to 1:30. It's a great opportunity if you just wanted to be around like-minded people, listen to people's concerns or even positive thoughts as to what's going on. It's a great opportunity then to meet other people also that you can associate with. We also have the book club, which is Kathy Duffy runs the book club, right?
And we do movies.
And
we have a movie night.
We have a movie night.
Have movie nights there at least once a month or every other month. Just lots of great opportunities to meet people, to get along with people who think alike, like you do, and just have some of that moral support. You know, and one thing I was going to say earlier too, when you were talking, Mark, is when you said, Republicans voted for Josh Wheel. They crossed over. I'm hopeful that we can start getting the message across to do the right thing. What's the right thing? We all have a difference of opinion how to achieve a political agenda, but what's right versus wrong? And I'm just hoping we can get back to, let's just do what's right.
Absolutely.
And helping our fellow neighbors. No matter what, we have a different way of approaching things, but we do the right thing. That's
right.
all I say.
And that's the power.
So I appreciate your comments about what we're doing. It is not and I appreciate that you said it is long-term. We do have a strategic plan.
Yes.
That is a 5-year, looking out, 5-year strategic plan. We are working now on, I would say, 3/4 of that strategic plan has some effort being put against it. We have several committees which address the various aspects of the strategic. Here's our strategic plan right there, right? So
Activities that are being worked on.
everything that is green
Absolutely.
Yeah.
is being worked on. So we've got a few things still to put some assignments towards. But we don't have that magic silver bullet, but we do know what to do to engage new Democrats. I am so happy to hear about your experience last Saturday. And we also know and you mentioned vote by mail. We also know that we don't know why, but we do know that receiving a ballot in the mail makes a voter more likely to vote. We don't know if it's because the ballot acts as a reminder that there's an election coming up, so they get to the polls. We don't know why, but we do know that a voter who receives a ballot in the mail, whether or not they actually use that ballot in the mail, they are much more likely to vote. So we are reaching out now to Democrats in Flagler County. We have a whole nother project going led by volunteer and precinct leader Cindy Fox, where she is managing a bunch of volunteers who are going out and who do not have signed up for vote by mail yet for 2026. So we're doing what we know works, and we will continue to do that.
And to add on to that, just for those that don't know, Florida legislature passed a few years back, but where all of the Floridian voters' mail-in ballots expire, every 2 election cycles? So basically, your vote by mail is only good for 2 election cycles, so you'd have the general midterms and the presidential election. Then your mail-in ballot expires, and you have to renew it. And a majority of Floridians do not know that. But just this past presidential, November 24th, if you had a mail-in ballot, it expired, and you would need to renew it by contacting the Supervisor of Elections office at Flagler County.
So I was a part of that team with Cindy, and I did go out multiple times and had conversations with the Democrats that we were touching as an effort to gain knowledge, and had conversations with many of them about the vote by mail and what the value was of it. Most of them weren't registered, which was the goal, didn't know that January 1, 2025, your vote by mail registration had failed unless you redid it and voted in the special election. But it was interesting, and you really hit it on the head. When we discussed with the individuals on the value of vote by mail ballot in your hand, it became apparent to them even the value of doing a 5-minute or less registration and having it in your hand a month early as a reminder, as a study guide. Oh my God, the amendments that we had in the 2024 and the 7 or 8 judges that got very little. In fact, even within our city council elections, the turnout and the votes, even in the general, were low, and in querying, people found, well, I didn't really know this guy over this guy, so I didn't vote. So I shared with them, if you had your ballot a month early and you opened it, you would have a list of those, and you could Google Jeffrey Seib or whoever and educate yourself, and you would be prepared when you walked in to do that ballot.
So there's
the
a lot of value,
a lot of value
to receiving a mail ballot,
Absolutely.
other than using it
Right.
as your voting tool. You can, Debbie, could you talk about petitions and how things have changed with petitions?
Oh, man.
In the past,
No,
on
take
petitions
over.
for specific,
Please.
people put out there, like right now, we're dealing with the Clean Water Act, marijuana, Medicaid, adult increase for poor adults to increase the Medicaid expansion. Well, our legislature once again has decided to interfere with our ability to get our amendments, changed onto the ballot for voters to choose. And therefore, we no longer, as the Democratic Party, or even the Republican Party, can no longer mass collect petitions without going through special registrations, go to training every couple of months, etc., etc. Therefore, once again, they're impeding your right to, what you feel should change, your votes and whatever. But we do have those 3 petitions going on right now, and we highly recommend, we have them in the office. It's simply, you have to mail it yourself, but we're still encouraging everyone to please complete the petitions so we can get these critical issues onto the ballot for you to choose what you want done with them.
We used to be able to collect those petitions at public events, in our office, and we could send them in bulk to the organization who is sponsoring that petition. That's called a third-party petition collector, and we don't want to be a part of that because should something go awry, the fines are just unbearable. So we are not collecting petitions. We have them there, as Debbie said, for your availability, but you need to fill it out and mail it in to the sponsoring organization on your own. Now, some sponsoring organizations have given us ballots that are already stamped because they are in a world of hurt and freaking out also.
The Medicaid petition to expand the Medicaid rights for poor adults has provided us with the pre-stamped envelopes for your use. So please take advantage, complete the petitions. They are available. You can go online and hunt them down, or you can come into the D.C. office and pick them up. Thank you for that.
Now, what about abortion? Are they doing that again this cycle?
No, it's
They're
not on this cycle.
Right.
Donations.
Please.
That was brought up.
Yes.
The Flagler County D.E.C. gets no money from any other organization. Our only income comes from donations, contributions. We are so fortunate to have a very generous Democratic community in Flagler County. So fortunate that there are people a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, who stepped up and said, you need a decent space. You need a space to work from, a space for your clubs to meet in. And we had a couple of people, local Democrats, who said, we will make this happen for you. So they reached out to their friends, and they reached out to their friends, and then we got ourselves a little more knowledgeable about this fundraising stuff, and so now we reach out. But we do have fabulous donors who assure us that we will have a space for at least the next year. Every time we have a special need, we had a need for the last voting cycle for some canopies at all of the voting sites to protect, to have a place for our poll watcher to sit. We got $50. $50 came rolling in from several people. So just wanted to say, if you are one of the donors, we couldn't be more grateful. And we also need $5 a month donations, $10 a month donations to continue our work. Everything we do costs, but we get no help from anybody but you. So thank you for the consideration. And you can donate by going to actblue.com and type in Flagler County Democrats and all of the options of how and who in Flagler County Democratic Party you can give your money to. So right now we are getting money for what we're calling our war chest for 2026, because we're not spending a lot of money in 2025, but we sure as heck will be spending a lot of money in 2026. So if you can contribute to our war chest for Flagler County 2026, that would just be terrific.
And it's important, I think, to hear this message. Your money is going directly to the needs to grow the Democratic Party and the liberal views and your voice, whether it be stamps for the postcards,
Absolutely.
Yes.
Every volunteer we have, every sign waiver we have is not paid, no matter what you hear from everywhere. You guys have phenomenal meetings where you do nothing but make signs to help with the rallies. So when you contribute that $5, that $5 is going directly to the voice of the Democratic Party here in Flagler Beach,
Yes.
in Flagler County, and the areas to grow that and to share it, whether it be what we're doing in the handouts and what the clubs are doing. So it's as pure an effort you can make to get and grow what you think needs to be happening here in this county.
I really appreciate you saying that. That warmed my heart, that pure. I had never thought about that, but it is so true. The Republicans in Flagler County do not have to do what we do. Partially because there are twice as many of them. But they do not personally volunteer.
Nope.
They do not personally donate.
They don't knock on doors.
They do not knock on
They
doors.
have no ground game.
Because they have PACs in Tallahassee that pay for everything they do. And that doesn't happen year round. It only happens, and it happens very effectively at election time.
Right.
I remember the saddest thing a couple of election cycles ago when Courtney Vandebunty was running for school board.
Oh, yeah.
We had spent so much money, so much effort, volunteers. There wasn't a better candidate. But a week before the election, the APAC in Tallahassee sent a monstrous postcard to every door in Flagler County, Democrat or not, full of lies about Courtney Vandebunty. We cannot fight against that. We can only do what we can do, as Debbie said, do what is right, and we have to do it with your donations. That is our only option.
Exactly.
And so thank you for the consideration of your time, your energy, and your treasure.
So, how are we doing, changing subject on you? We are working so hard to get the message out and to get stronger, but without solid candidates that are willing to step up and participate. Do you have a feeling, or is there anything you can share about what's happening? We're a year out. I already know that several Republicans have already got their name in the hat as far as the 3, maybe 4, but right now 3 city council races that are opening up. But I haven't really heard any interest or efforts of any local Palm Coast City Council or even the commissioner race.
So I can tell you that on August 19th, when is that?
Next week,
Next week, yes.
Okay. Next Tuesday, would that be?
I think so.
We are having our inaugural meeting for our candidate committee. We have former candidates on this committee. The committee is being led by a local Democrat who was previously in Ohio and had significant success with her and some of her other friends in finding candidates to run in Ohio. Some of those started out local, some of those are now at the state level, and they are still meeting. She flies to Ohio every once in a while to still meet with that group of people. No one better qualified than her to do that. And so we have a main team of about 8 people. We will be meeting, like I said, on August 19th and making plans to do our recruitment, we're going to have an academy, a candidate academy to
Oh, nice.
make sure that they that we get them trained as early as possible. People don't know what candidates don't know what they don't know. Now, additionally, on my own as a curious citizen, a friend and I will be meeting this week with the two candidates who have put their hat in the ring for CD6 U.S. Rep.
Oh,
And
nice.
that is Ronnie Murchison Rivera out of the Orlando area, and Eric Yance, who lives in Ormond Beach. So tomorrow we're meeting with Ronnie, Friday we're meeting with Eric. It's just we cannot pick a candidate until the public and the voters have picked a candidate in the primary, but we can find out what their plans are, what their political acumen is, what teams they have put together, what their plans are, and we can certainly expose them to the voters of Flagler County. One gentleman whose name is on the list as running is James Stockton, and he is not going to run. So his name will be coming off of the list. So that leaves us at this point in time with two candidates for the CD6. There is a new vice chair, a new chair and vice chair. If I'm talking too much, just
Not at all. That's why you're here,
in Putnam County.
to share.
I'm getting paid to talk, folks. In Putnam County, and they are very interested, as Debbie and I are, in creating a coalition of the DECs in CD6, and that would be Lake County, Putnam County, Volusia County, Marion County, Flagler County, and St. John's County. So we're hoping to get the officers of those 6 counties together. And we know that Putnam County is really on board with this, so that we can learn from each other and can help that candidate out in a more coordinated way than what we were able to do this past April for Josh Wheel.
Right. And we learned so much from those exposures, and hearing that we're starting today. We're starting the conversation today only is going to get us further down the road to have those candidates that we can put in front of and then market, sell as in support their goals and objectives for future changes that we all want to embrace with all the challenges that are going on throughout the country. And I'm a very local-centered individual because I have seen efforts be successful in making little changes in our local economy, in our local city, which is bipartisan. So it presents some, I think, fundamental challenges to that conversation within the DEC when we have non-affiliated people running for city council and things like that, which is the way it was designed to be. Like-minded people that don't. But we know that they like to wear that RD badge proudly on the other side of the fence, if you will. So another question would be, and that's phenomenal, that's great, and
Let's not stop the candidate conversation without
Yes.
imploring
absolutely. We
people. We need people to run for office. We can teach you how to run for office through our academy. So after August 19th, after our first meeting, we will be having some candidates informational sessions, if
Sure.
you will, to help you figure out if this is something that might really work out for you and your family. So do not rule out the possibility. There's a whole lot of people, a whole lot of you out there who would really like to make a difference and are probably very qualified, and we would love to hear from you. So when you get the word that we're having these sessions, please join us.
Or go to the Democratic office.
Right.
If you're in one of the 3 districts in Palm Coast that has a seat available, there's going to be 3, maybe a mayor, we don't know how that's going to turn out.
Yeah.
To find out and get information and ask those questions. How do I even know how? And the D.E.C. and Janet and what you guys are doing to put together that information is light years ahead of where we were in 2024 and the year before that. Because I was on that subcommittee with Ellen in 2023 trying to put people together. And it is a challenge.
It's difficult. Yeah. It is difficult. People need to be trained.
Exactly. I know that District 4 is open, and Sullivan.
Who currently holds that?
Charles Gambaro, but he's announced he's running against.
He's gonna
run against
He's
Fine.
gonna primary Randy Fine.
And then Sullivan hasn't decided yet what he wants to do, and that's District 3. I'm not sure. And then Teresa Ponetary has not, in District 2, has not come out and said.
And there will be 2 openings for Flagler County Commission.
Right, and I believe the rumor is she's interested in possibly one of those, which doesn't mean anything to us. We need candidates. If you are interested in going into being a candidate, we'll help you figure out. Janet and her team will help you figure out where your best fit is. And I think that's the right question you should be asking yourself. Not where I want to go, but if I want to go. And then based on education, which these guys will provide you, you'll find where your better fit will be. From mosquito control board all the way up to 6th district or whatever.
And there are openings on the school board too.
Exactly. And I'm in the process of trying to get Miss Ruddy to come in and talk with us about the school board and the candidates and those things. So we have to have candidates. We have to have good, educated, informed candidates. And we're here to help you with that. We have the tools.
These roles can be shell-shocking.
Oh, no doubt.
I'm sure Debbie's shell-shocked. I am shell-shocked. And ours are volunteer roles.
Yes.
But of course you get paid minimal for those public roles. But still,
Sure.
We don't want you to be shell-shocked at, oh my God, this is
Right.
stuff.
No.
Stuff.
It takes, I give high praise to anybody willing to run and go through that, to run for an election. You can see in our city council the turmoil and frustrations that are going on that have nothing to do with running the city. And that's something that we want to get away from. So another question, I've got another question. How are we at the D.E.C. and even within clubs trying to grow and reach out to the younger citizens within Flagler County? I'm talking about the 25 to 40-year-olds.
It is a challenge, and it is important, but there are actually fewer of those in that age range, we get a lot of questions about that. But there are actually fewer people in that age range who are not voting than there are in other age ranges. So we are still trying to figure out the best way
Yes.
to reach young people. And by young, I think we're talking 35 and under-ish.
Everybody's younger than me.
Yeah, or me.
But you know, but they are another area worthwhile to invest time in to grow as future or Democrats.
Certainly they are. And we are visiting them. You visited some new ones as.
Absolutely.
So for sure, as they register, or for sure as they move into the county, we are visiting them. But right now, we do not have a plan to go visit the mass in that age group. I'm not saying we won't, but right now that's not the age group that we are visiting for vote by mail. We're visiting the 50 years and older for vote by mail.
Sure.
But we've got a year to get all this done. And we are researching some technology, but we are all old. And every efforts that we make, we can't seem to be, honestly, consistent about it. So,
We're actually looking for anybody who has recommendations, advice, or how can we reach the younger people. We have been told by young people that still approach them, you know.
Sure.
But you don't approach them with, who are you voting for? You approach them with, what are your issues?
Exactly.
And I think that's something we as a group can start developing ourselves and do a little bit better job on. But yes, like Jan said, right now we don't have the answers to it, and we're trying to find answers, but it's a work in progress.
Well, I know that there are. I know that, like with Palm Coast Democrat Club, they started doing evening meetings
Yeah.
to try to reach out with younger people or people that were working. And it was hit and miss. Sometimes there were 10 people, sometimes there were 30. I know we've discussed in trying to look at the Blue Forum and expanding that into a 6 to 7 to try to reach out. And all of those are just efforts, opportunities, if you can get
To try, yeah.
And thank goodness we have a space to open it up, like for the movie nights. We're still we do movie nights once a month typically, in which we bring in various types of movies that are more documentary, educational, and we probably get 15 to 25 people in there.
There were about 40 at the last one.
That have conversations after it. And so I know that I was approached by a gentleman who is part of the, I'm going to say this wrong, Democratic Progressive Caucus he's the president of the Florida Progressive Caucus.
Yes.
Democratic Caucus, asking and saying he was willing, and he's going around to all the DECs. That's not why he reached out to me. He was interested in joining me on my podcast. But his intent is to reach out to all the DECs and offer an opportunity to come in and do a informational presentation to the DECs to just go, they have funding, they have growth, they're for the young people. And he knows that to some of us longer in the tooth, the word progressive comes with some challenging conflicts, but we are a big tent.
He has reached out to me.
Oh, he has.
He
Excellent.
has reached out to me. And the conversation is not closed, but conversation is not closed.
I know. He explained, I actually had met him because he was on the Josh campaign and was working with Josh in the office next door to us for a while, and I interfaced with him.
He's a
couple of
college
times.
student
Exactly.
in Winter Park.
Right.
Before I see our clock is running,
Yes. Look,
I want to say,
please.
make sure that people know we have a website, FlaglerDemocrats.com. FlaglerDemocrats.com. We have a newsletter which comes out 2 times a month. You can sign up for that newsletter through the website at FlaglerDemocrats.com. The newsletter sometimes comes out a little more often, if something's very
I
timely.
got one
Today, you did. And I wanted to mention that go to the website, FlaglerDemocrats.com, and it does talk about 2 anti-Randy Fine rallies that are occurring on Wednesday in
Right.
Palm Coast. Our headquarters is in City Marketplace there near Lowe's off of Cypress Point Parkway. We are upstairs in Building C, Unit 214, I believe.
2148.
Can't miss it. Huge sign of
Right,
it.
right.
Says Democrat.
Yes.
And
love
thank
it.
you so much for having us.
And
Oh.
I would like to say,
Yes, please.
also part of our slogan is don't stop. Don't stop believing, don't stop fighting, and don't stop giving. We will get our democracy back.
Absolutely. And with that, any final thoughts, ladies? Thank you so much for coming and sharing. We're trying to touch every media outlet that we can. This is just one of the many ways to try to get the word out and to grow. Because for me, we need to be ready with open arms to embrace all of those unhappy, scared, concerned citizens that you have a place. You have a place that's going to accept you and help you and try to get us back to the America that I'm proud to say I'm an American. I served 20 years in the military to defend that right. And with that,
Can
what do
I
you
say
got?
one more
Of
thing?
course.
I wanted to say that our plans for reaching out to no party registrations are more robust than our plans right now to reach out to young people. So we are.
Yes.
So
Everybody.
we know that there are thousands of no parties who we do not own fairness, kindness, all of the things that help, the desire to have good health care. We do not own that.
Exactly. That's a right we should all have as being.
And we don't own that belief either.
Right.
There are thousands of people in Flagler County who believe the same things for the most part that the Democratic Party does, that just don't have a D after their name.
Yeah,
So you are welcome.
exactly.
Whoever you are welcome. Contact us. We'll be happy to get you connected. We'll be happy to help you navigate any of this in any way. But so if you don't have a D after your name, but you know in your heart what is right, like Debbie said, we are here for you and we will welcome you.
Right. And so with that,
Yes.
today's your first day. Today is the day you're going to decide whether you're going to sit on your couch, in your recliner, and listen to all the news, or step up, step out, step into a group, find a group, find a donation, find a few dollars, participate in the future that you deserve. Guys, I'll catch you next time. Stay safe. Thanks.